They're waiting for you to explain yourself, justify, defend. You say nothing. The silence stretches, becomes uncomfortable. They start filling it themselves, revealing more than they intended. You still haven't spoken, yet you've already won. The ancient Stoics discovered something most people never learn. Silence isn't absence of power. It's the concentrated form of it. When Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, and Seneca wielded silence, they didn't withhold speech from weakness. They deployed it as precision weaponry. Today I'm going to show you 3 types of strategic silence that make you untouchable. Not passive quiet, active power. The Stoic principle. First, understand why silence has force. Seneca wrote, "Speech is the mirror of the mind." But he also knew, silence is the fortress of the mind. What you don't say cannot be used against you. What you don't explain cannot be misunderstood. What you don't defend doesn't need defending. The Romans practiced silentium armatum, armed silence. Not empty quiet, but loaded restraint. Every moment of silence served a purpose. Marcus Aurelius ruled Rome surrounded by advisors demanding his opinion, generals wanting orders, senators seeking favor. If he spoke constantly, his words would lose value. If he spoke rarely, each word carried weight. He wrote, "Be like the promontory against which the waves continually break, but it stands firm and tames the fury of the water around it." Silence is that promontory. Words are waves. Most people are drowning in their own words. You will stand firm. Let me show you exactly how. Silence 1. Tacitus judicium, the silent judgment. The first weapon is tacitus judicium, silent judgment. You observe, process, and let others convict themselves. When someone attacks your position or challenges your authority, instinct screams, defend yourself, explain, prove them wrong. The Stoic does the opposite, sits in complete silence, maintains steady eye contact, let the attacker's words hang in the air. This creates unbearable pressure. The attacker expected resistance. They prepared for an argument. Your silence gives them nothing to push against. They're throwing punches at smoke. Epictetus taught students, "The wise man speaks because he has something to say. The fool speaks because he has to say something." Your silence sorts who's who instantly. 3 months ago, a meeting turned hostile. Someone accused me of making a decision without consensus. You just did what you wanted. You ignored everyone's input. My instinct: defend. List the 5 meetings where we discussed this. Produce the emails showing agreement. Instead, I leaned back slightly, folded my hands, looked at them calmly, said nothing. 5 seconds of silence. Feels like 5 minutes. They continued. I know we talked about it, but more silence from me. Maybe I missed the final decision point. Still silent. Another team member spoke. "We voted on this 3 weeks ago. You were there. You voted yes." I hadn't said a word. My silence let truth emerge naturally. Had I defended myself, it would have looked like justification. My silence made it about facts, not ego. After the meeting, the person apologized privately. I realized halfway through I was wrong, but I was already committed to the argument. Here's what silent judgment does. It forces people to hear their own words. Without your response to react to, they must evaluate what they said. Often they realize it was indefensible. The practice. Next time someone challenges you unfairly, try 5 seconds of silent, steady eye contact before responding. Just 5. Watch them squirm. Watch the truth surface. Silence 2. Vacuum strategicum. The strategic vacuum. The second weapon is vacuum strategicum. Creating strategic vacuum through silence. Nature abhors a vacuum, so do conversations. When you create silence, others rush to fill it, and in their rush they reveal what they're hiding. Interrogators know this, so did the Stoics. Marcus Aurelius would ask advisors a question, then go completely silent, not nodding, not reacting, just waiting. The advisor would answer. Marcus would remain silent. The advisor would elaborate, then over-elaborate, eventually revealing their true motive or doubt. Seneca wrote, "The greatest remedy for anger is delay. The greatest tool for truth is silence." The technique is simple but psychologically devastating. Ask a question, get an answer, then stay silent as if expecting more. Most people interpret your continued silence as, that answer was insufficient, so they keep talking. And in talking, they expose what they meant to hide. Last month, hiring a contractor, I asked, "What's your timeline for completion?" 6 weeks. Definitely doable. Old me would have said, "Great, let's move forward." Instead, I stayed silent, just looked at him. 3 seconds. He continued. Could be 5 weeks if nothing goes wrong. More silence from me. There is one project finishing up that might overlap a few days, but I'll manage it. Still silent. Actually, to be completely honest, 7 weeks is safer. I'd rather underpromise. There it was, the real timeline. I'd gone from 6 weeks to 7 without asking another question. Just silence. We agreed on 7 weeks. He delivered in 6.5. Had I accepted the first answer, he would have missed the 6-week deadline and blamed unexpected complications. The strategic vacuum works because people are terrified of silence. They'll fill it with truth just to end the discomfort. The practice. In your next negotiation or important conversation, after someone answers your question, stay silent for 3 seconds before responding. Watch what they add. That addition is usually the truth they didn't want to lead with. Silence 3. Absentia verbi, the withheld word. The third weapon is the most powerful. Absentia verbi, deliberately withholding the word they're waiting for. They want your approval, your agreement, your validation, your explanation. You give them nothing. Not refusal, that's still engagement, just absence. The word doesn't come. This is how Epictetus maintained authority despite having no formal power. Students would present arguments expecting him to agree or disagree. He would often just nod slightly and move to the next topic. His approval was so rare it became precious. His disapproval was unnecessary because his withheld approval communicated everything. Marcus Aurelius used this with military generals. They'd present plans expecting his endorsement. He would listen completely, then say, "Continue your preparations." Not yes, not no, just acknowledgement that he'd heard them. They had to proceed without the validation they wanted. This kept them sharp. They couldn't hide behind "the emperor approved it." The withheld word maintains your power because they can't cite you, can't claim your backing, can't use your words to justify their actions. 2 weeks ago, a client wanted me to publicly endorse their product. Just a quote we can use. "I've worked with company X and they're excellent," or something. They wanted it badly. That want was leverage. I listened to their pitch, then said, "I appreciate you asking." Silence. "So, would you be comfortable with that? I heard your request. Is that a yes? I'll consider it." I never gave them yes or no. Weeks later, they improved their product significantly and asked again, "We've implemented everything you suggested. Now would you endorse us?" Because I'd withheld initially, my eventual endorsement carried weight. Had I given it immediately, it would have meant nothing. The withheld word creates hunger. People want what they can't easily get. Your readily given approval becomes cheap. Your carefully withheld approval becomes valuable. Seneca taught, "The wise man has few needs, the fool has many." When you need nothing from them, not their approval, not their agreement, not even resolution, you hold all leverage. The practice. This week someone will want something from you. Maybe approval, maybe agreement, maybe acknowledgement. Give them silence instead. Say, "I've heard you," or "I understand your position," but withhold the specific word they're seeking. Watch how it shifts the dynamic. Integration. These 3 silences work as a complete system. Someone challenges you. Tacitus judicium. You stay silent. Let them convict themselves with their own words. You need information. Vacuum strategicum. You ask once, then create silence that they compulsively fill with truth. They want something from you. Absentia verbi. You withhold the word, maintaining leverage and authority. Last week, I used all 3 in one difficult conversation. A vendor was underperforming and charging full price. I called the meeting, stated the problem once. "We're 3 weeks behind and quality isn't meeting spec." Then, Tacitus judicium. Complete silence, let them respond. They blame supply chain, staffing and weather. I remained silent throughout, just watched. Finally, "I guess those are excuses. The real issue is we took on too much work." Truth emerged. I'd said almost nothing. Then vacuum strategicum. "What's your solution?" They proposed working weekends. I stayed silent. They improved the offer. No additional charges for the delay. Still silent. "And we'll add 2 weeks of free support after completion." I nodded slightly. Finally, absentia verbi. They wanted me to say, "We're good, let's continue the relationship." I said, "Complete the project to spec. We'll evaluate the next steps after that." No validation, no assurance of future work, just what they'd get if they performed an evaluation. They delivered early. Quality is excellent, hoping for that withheld approval. 3 types of silence. 1 complete victory. Barely spoke. The ancient Stoics knew that words are cheap because everyone has them. Silence is precious because few have mastered it. Marcus Aurelius commanded legions, Epictetus shaped minds, Seneca guided emperors. None of them relied on volume. All of them wielded silence like a blade. You are surrounded by people who cannot stop speaking. They fill every gap with explanation, justification, nervous laughter, unnecessary words. This is your advantage. While they drown in their own noise, you stand silent, observing, processing, deploying words only when they'll carry maximum force. Tacitus judicium. Let them convict themselves. Vacuum strategicum. Let them fill silence with truth. Absentia verbi. Let them hunger for what you withhold. Seneca's final written words as he died. Words have weight when they are backed by wisdom, and silence has more weight than words ever could. So here's my question. Which conversation this week needs your strategic silence instead of your anxious words? Comment below. Subscribe to Stoic Forge for wisdom that speaks through what it doesn't say. Share this with someone who needs to talk less and command more. Remember, the promontory doesn't argue with waves. It stands, silent, unbreakable. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.